Guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Matthew and I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Today's video is the second part of building 2 Adirondack chairs out of hardwood lumber, oak. This part is going to be assembly and the finish of them. Not too complicated. Matthew and I have done hundreds of these in the past, so we don't think a whole lot of it, but I hope it's helpful. It's something you can enjoy. And this is something you can build at home. You can take your wood miser sawmill, saw some lumber, whether it be pine or hardwood. Now, if it's pine, you could probably build it this year. Give it 3 to 6 months, dry out, and build them. If it's going to be a hardwood or oak, either have a buddy you got kiln dry it, or just plan on waiting a year or two for it to adequately, dry out. But it's something you can use this tool to make and enjoy it. I've got several around the property. Matthew's got several at his house. Mom and Dad's got several down at the lake. My son Michael's got a couple of them. We've got them all over the place. But that's going to do it. Appreciate you watching. We'll get right into the video. Welcome back. It's Monday morning for Matthew and I. Today we're going to start assembling our chairs. I told you I had a couple jigs here for different reasons. This is the first one. It helps me set this leg assembly up parallel and at the correct angle. So we build our chair, it will sit flat on the floor or sit flat on the ground. So what I do is I take one of my leg verticals, take my pattern or my jig, grab my leg piece, pick the inside out. I'll take and square it up to the front, and just for ease of operation, I put a clamp on it. First thing, we're going to end up putting 2 carriage bolts. So I'm going to mark where I want the carriage bolts to go when it's all said and done. But Matthew's going to put 2 screws in it just to hold it together so we can get it off the table and move on to the next part of this. It goes without saying, make sure you're using either a stainless steel screw or, in our case, we're using an exterior deck screw. If you use any of these interior screws, they won't last outside. If you put it in pressure treated, they'll just rot. So we get a little more of this sorted out. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, this is the beginning of our chair, the leg segment. You see them clamp them together and put 2 temporary screws. Now I went back in this one and put some 3/8 carriage bolts. And the reason you do is every time somebody flops their body into one of these chairs, it wants to flex. And this joint is what takes most of the flex. There'll be 2 carriage bolts here, and when we do the back, there'll be another carriage bolt on each side. So, and these are galvanized as well. So let me get another up here. Went ahead and marked them while we were assembling them, so I wouldn't have to do it now. All I gotta do is drill the holes. I didn't get enough of that. got enough to do one chair. And we got our finger saver here. There we go. That is all there is to it. You can get by with one, but I found out one, it can still rock a little bit. With two, that takes care of all that. So we'll get the rest of them done and we'll move on. Okay guys, we got our two leg pieces up here and our front spreader. Now, even though there's two of us, to make life easier, I made a couple of 90-degree clamps that I can just clamp to the leg and then hold it up while we're trying to get it centered, because this part is a little fiddly. You're setting the initial width for all your seats blocking, as well as getting them parallel and plumb and this level. We went ahead and pre-drilled these holes because we're on the end grain of the oak. I'm a little worried about it splitting. And let's turn this thing down a notch. Turn it down number 2. We're not driving bolts. You want to sneak up on tight, just a little bit. You can run it, this drill's got enough, you can run it all the way through there. But we'll take our leg braces off. Now we have the beginnings of a Adirondack chair. So we're going to grab the other nut, do it, and we'll jump to the next section. Okay guys, next step we're going to install the back spreader. This is where the vertical boards go and your back rests against it. And this is the spreader to hold the chair together. If you look over here, we got the first one assembled, this one. And then we're going to do the same thing to this one. It has a lot of rigidity to it. I can climb up and down on that chair now. So let's get it up here and we'll start making a chair out of it. Okay guys, here's our lower frame assembled. When we put this top spreader on, we put one screw in and made sure it was square, and then we pre-drilled the other 3 holes. And instead of taking this one back out, we just spun it up, and Matthew was able to finish pre-drilling these. If you're doing pressure treated, there's no point of pre-drilling. That stuff's soaking wet. This wood is 6, 7, 8% moisture. It's been kiln dried, so I'm a little afraid of putting that much screw in it without pre-drilling. So there's no need to put that kind of internal stress trying to blow that wood apart. Just pre-drill, get most of that out of the way, and let the threads on the screw itself do the testing. So that was pretty much the easy part. I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I built one of these. I think the next thing we're going to do is attach the 2 arms and the rear spreader. And that goes out here in the middle of nowhere. But we got a jig for that. So let's get set up and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back. We got the first one assembled. We got our 2 arms on, our back spreader, as well as our little corbels. I'll tell you from the get-go, it's a little fiddly. There's nothing you can do that's going to line it up perfectly parallel. You're going to have to use your best judgment. We did pre-drill all our holes, and we cut it countersunk them. Like I said, this is dry white oak and red oak. I'm afraid of too much tension, you'll be splitting it. So we're going to try to go through the process here. Matthew may have to speed it up because it took about 15 minutes for us to do this one. But we're going to get our 2 arms, our spreader, and our little back stave, and we'll show you how all that goes together. So, which one you got? Square drive? Yeah. Okay. We're gonna lay our spreader piece here, put our arm up on it. Now, all things being equal, I have a 20-degree miter here, and I've also got a 20-degree miter on this arm. But I'm only going to put 1 screw in it so that we can move it a little bit when we come over here and adjust to the chair. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark for our carriage bolt. Going to go in the center, and we're going to put 4 2-inch deck screws in it as well. This is one of the main components of holding your chair together. All your back staves are going to be supported off of this. So little countersink, pre-drill, and yeah, I know you can do better. I got yellow deck screws, I got green. It'll be all right, but you can do stainless if you want to pay for them. I looked at stainless. They're unreal expensive, but they are available. Let's see this side. I went ahead and marked all them holes, but we're not going to utilize them until we get it squared up on the chair frame. Okay, now Matthew will get the camera. I'll get this chair out. Okay. Here's our lower frame. Now, this is where you got to play with it. This is holding our height pretty close to where it needs to be. You're going to have to center the back by eyeball. I mean, and then you want to adjust your arms because they can move a little bit in and out. The only thing you got to be critical of is these corbels. Matthew's got one, I got one. So they go up on this arm, and you don't want it sticking out. You know, you got to have enough meat there to cover that corbel, as well as kind of a common distance here. I like that being flush with that. Flush. Alright, as long as that leaves us enough back here. Yep, I got plenty here. It's off just a hair right there, so it needs to be. Okay. Well, we'll come back to it. Okay, after you've got your screw in there temporarily, what I'm doing is making sure these holes I'm going to pre-drill are going to hit where I want them to. Not only in relationship to center here, but here as well. I'm going to move this one back just a smidge. We're only drilling into a 7/8 inch thick board, so you gotta be pretty close to center. Okay, I'm gonna take this one back out and finish the counter drill before we go to the bottom with it. There it is. Now we get to do the same on the other side. Firmly attached. Now, just kind of getting a visual where I'm at here, where he's at on this side compared to that one. It's going to be, you got to give and take a little bit here, people. There's no way around it. You got to give and take just a little bit. I want that one there. Oh, well,
Just to get one set to hold.
that.
Now you do have a split right here.
Yeah, I want to avoid that. I'd like to have one there and one there. If I put it right there, good idea till then. There's a board. So that needs to go there.
And that one should be going about the same spot.
That's 3/4. This is probably the hardest part of building these chairs, because there's no way to guarantee they're going to fit perfect every time. They all move just a little bit. What seems off? So I try to eyeball it just like this, move over. Just come this way, though.
Let me get right
About right there.
there. Yeah.
Grab your 2 screws and run it down. We'll counter drill this last one. It's ready for a screw. Okay, that's a square drive, big driver.
We're gonna toss this thing up on the table and be right back.
Okay, last part of this process is these two corbels. And they're gonna go right here. Now, you can spend an hour measuring and guessing and doing everything else. I'm gonna use my eyeball measure to center it up. Use the square, make sure it's square. While I hold it, I'm gonna draw a faint pencil line around it. Up and down. I want that top screw. I'm gonna mark our screw holes. Here, 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 and then on the top arm. There, and there. The reason I'm doing that, it's hard to guess from the top side where that hole's at, but if we pre-drill through here, we know exactly where they're at. Okay, we'll take our countersinking jig, cut from the other side, do a little countersink. I'll do the other two in just a minute when we flip it up. Now I'm gonna take the corbel on the other side and do exactly the same thing. Okay, I'm going to stand it up so he can get the arms. Then we'll lay it back down and attach our corbels. Now, if you're going for a fine finish, you know, you could, and I have done it on some of mine that I did out of maple and oak, cedar, is plug these holes, but they're not paying that much for these. Customer's actually expecting pressure treated, and this is a surprise from Matthew and I to her. She's taken good care of us over the years, bought a lot of lumber and different things, bought a lot of these chairs. So I'm gonna hold it in place. Matthew's gonna get a screw.
Are we not gonna drill it first?
Oh, you need to drill.
And the drill so I can drill into the corbel.
Yeah.
Bottom one. Split.
No, they need to be pre-drilled. This wood is so rigid, if you don't pre-drill it, I'm afraid you're just going to crack it over time. I'll switch sides and do that other one. Get that on. Now we're going to switch over to this corbel and do the same thing. I'm going to put it back on the little pencil lines I made and hold it in place while Matthew pre-drills the first hole. Rotate it up. We'll do the same thing up here. These are modified Phillips. They're Phillips / square. I accidentally bought these. I wanted Torx, but they had too many selections. By the time I got what I wanted picked out, I got home with it. Not exactly what I wanted. Okay. That almost finishes it. The last thing to do is these screw holes we marked. We need to put those in and drill for our 2 carriage bolts. Okay, the reason for that carriage bolt, guys, when you sit out in this chair, all your back weight flop down is going against these 4 screws, and over time they can loosen up. That carriage bolt won't loosen up. That's it for this. Let's get set up for the next step. We'll be back in just a few. Okay, guys, this is our first chair with the back assembled. We've got the second one up here. We're going to complete it. Now, Matthew's already marked her center mark. We're going to lay our pieces in here. I've already figured out I like about a 1/2 inch spacing on the bottom of them. So I got some 1/2 inch spacers. And outside too. And we didn't like a 1/2 inch spacer out there, so we kind of went with a 1/8 inch screw spacer. Now, this one needs to lay all the way out. I swear the whole thing needs to do that just a little bit. Thank you.
That looks better right there.
This is where you're using that eyeball level. You want to get back from it and see how it looks, see what adjustments can be made and need to be made.
I'm gonna have to hold it. There.
Okay, we lost our screw spacer. Okay. And walk back away from it and look at it. That looks good, Matthew. How's it look in comparison to the first one? About the same?
It's about the same.
Okay. Now, we've got them where we want them, but they won't stay that way because we got to countersink and pre-drill each one. But I'm going to go ahead and mark each one and we'll take them down. We'll start with this center one. Since we're happy, I'm going to go ahead and put a little mark right here and we won't move the bottom. But I'm going to go through and mark the screw holes where I want them countersunk. Same thing on the bottom. I'm only going to put one in the bottom. Not quite enough meat down here or width to do 2. Okay, we'll take this center one out, hand it to Matthew, and he'll do our countersinking on it, and we'll put it right back in. We got the first one countersunk. We'll put it in and pre-drill the bottom hole.
Get back here and make sure it's set. Oh, I can see your elbow in that.
Okay. This is why you mark it, because it moves right there. Put it right back where I had it marked to go. the 2-inch screws in. It's adequate to hold this together. Okay, now we got all the spacers in here. The 2 outer ones basically splay out as far as they can, and then the inner ones you just get them looking where they're appropriate. So that's that. We're gonna finish this up. We'll be right back. Okay guys, we got the bottoms attached. We've got the tops splayed out pretty close to where we want to do them. We're going to fine tune them. One piece I forgot to mention was our last jig. It's actually screwed underneath here, and that allows us to have something to set these back braces on. So let's do these 2 over here. Looks pretty darn good, Matthew. Yep. Definitely goes faster with 2 people. Somebody to hold while you're pre-drilling and screwing. But it can be done by yourself. Yeah, I like it. We're going to take this little spacer block out from underneath it, and we're ready to move on. I gotta hold it there. There it is. Okay guys, we got our seat bottoms picked out here. The front one we've already attached. It's parallel with the front. It's got a screw on each end. We went ahead and put one in the middle for that spreader. We took a few minutes to work on our spacing, and what we decided is a 1/8" screw all the way up here, and that should get us the right spacing all the way down. So we got to pre-drill each one and assemble it. And this will be done other than I'm going to do just a little light sanding up here where we drill these holes, but other than that they should be complete. So we're going to drop you on time lapse because this is unreal repetitive. Let's get to it. Okay guys, here's our 2 chairs. They are complete. I went ahead and sanded just a little bit on the top and where we drilled these holes in the seat bottoms to make sure there wasn't no sharp edges. Sanded off a couple pencil marks I left. They set incredibly well. That's the biggest thing to making these. I've set the seat bottoms flat. You don't want a flat bottom, you want it arched. Ain't nobody out there got a flat bottom. Even plumbers got a little arch to them. So if you build one, make sure you put a little arch in the bottom, and your back needs to have a bow in it. I've set them that had a flat bottom and a flat back, and they're the most uncomfortable chairs to sit in. These sit very well. Yeah. Only thing I need is a pond, a fishing pole, and a Mountain Dew or a cup of coffee, and we'd be good right here. But that's gonna do it for this part. We got some
Finish we're gonna put on it.
yeah, we got an exterior flat finish we're gonna be putting on these, and we'll try to show you a little bit of that, and we're gonna deliver them to the customer. That's gonna do it for now. It's lunchtime. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay guys, we're down at the other shop. I got the compressor running. We got our exterior urethane. We're gonna spray on these. I'm gonna start with them upside down, get the bottom sections, and then we'll flip them over. Okay guys, here they are. Our two Adirondack chairs made out of oak. There's a little bit of white oak, red oak, both in there. We put our exterior Valspar urethane. It's a flat finish. It's the same material we use on our wall over there. It's supposed to be good for UV rays, water protection, and you know, she can spray them again later on if she wants to. But that's going to do it for this project. We'll deliver these tomorrow. If we may get a little extra footage to add in, but if not, I know this is not sawing. It's not our regular everyday thing. But guys, if you're running a wood miser, you need to be using some of your own lumber, and I'll tell you why. When you saw this lumber and you air dry it or you kiln dry it, and then you pull it back out and you try to make something with it, it makes you either appreciate the good job you're doing or lets you know you need to step up your game and what you're sawing and how you're sawing a finished product for a consumer to use. I've done this for years. We've used a lot of our old products, and it does make you a better sawyer. And it makes you understand that if you saw an ugly log and it's not real good looking when it comes off the mill, it's not going to dry and look any better. You know, a crappy board when it's wet will only be worse when it's dry, with all the knots, the cracks, you know, defects, stuff like that. I don't mind using it. What we used up here was a lot of crappy red oak I had, but I throwed a lot of it away, just working around the defects, getting down the good stuff, and that's fine for me. But I wouldn't even try to give that to a customer to use because there's just too much bad product there. So, as always, I recommend try to use your own lumber as much as you can. It's good for you. It's not a sawing project, but it does have something to do with sawing. This is the end product. It's what you can do or a customer can do with your end product. I hope you enjoy it. If you got any questions, comments, leave them below. I'll be glad to try to answer them. As always, you know, we appreciate people that help us. Joe Maine at Industrial Cutting Tools is a good friend. He's a good friend of this channel. Also, Solomon from Third Beard Fishing. Get a chance, check out his channel. And that's going to do it, guys. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you back at the meeting.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.